Thanks for being here. My name is Mike Brown, and I want to welcome you to our Social Security planning event. And the title of the event is Make the Most of Your Social Security, which means that you could also make the least of your Social Security. So our objective in today's event is to really help you kind of identify some of the issues related to Social Security that make a big impact on your financial life. And so we want this to be an interactive session. We're gonna provide a little bit of history and background about Social Security, where it stands today, and what some of the key issues are. Then walk you through some of the details of how Social Security works, and then walk you through some examples of different scenarios and the decisions that you might make. Ultimately, Social Security is a very personal decision because it's based on your facts and circumstances. So we won't cover every scenario that folks might be in, but we're going to try to cover some of the broader scenarios. So if you have questions along the way, we're happy to take them. And if we're going to deal with them later in the session, then we might defer your question or push it to the end. But we're looking forward to a great event today. Just by way of introduction, as I said, my name is Mike Brown. I'm a partner in our firm. And then my co-presenters are Tracy Burgett and Jake Erlandson. Tracy spends a great deal of her time working on financial planning issues, and she is just a fantastic resource for our firm in helping to figure out some of the complexities around Social Security. And then Jake, like me, is a portfolio manager and spends almost all of his time working on client matters. And Jake is a great resource as well with respect to Social Security and a great resource. So just a little bit of background about our firm. Many you all are clients or friends of the firm, so most of you know who we are. But just I thought I'd give you some numbers. So we manage about $2.9 billion now for more than 900 clients. And our goal in everything that we do is to put our clients' interests first. We want to treat your money as if it is our own, and that is what being fiduciaries is all about. From an investment approach, you won't find it all that exciting, but you'll find it to be very effective. So that's our goal. We want to be outstanding at what we do in everything that we do, and that means having just fantastic people. And so we invest a lot in training, in development, in credentials and education, all those things that make us prepared to deal with your life savings because we take that responsibility very seriously. So thanks for being here. We appreciate you as clients and as friends of our firm. So I think everybody knows that 65 isn't what it used to be, and I was looking for some famous 65-year-olds, and actually this guy is now 70. Can you believe that? Tom Selleck is 70 years old. This is a picture back in 2010 when he was 65. But aging is a little different today than it was in 1955, which was 20 years after Social Security was signed into law. A lot of different factors affecting Social Security, longevity certainly being one of the primary things to think about. And a lot of things go into that. People may decide that they want to work longer just because they're enjoying their work to stay engaged. There may be greater economic uncertainty because of things that have gone on either in markets or businesses or the economy. So the traditional pension plan, retire at 65, that model that was kind of in place 60 years ago isn't there today. So a couple of statistics around longevity risk, which we think Social Security is one of the great tools that you can use to manage longevity risk. And when I say that, I mean that is the risk that you live longer than your money does. So we like to think of Social Security as a tool to help you manage that risk. But if you look at folks who are age 65 today versus the same demographic in 1940, which is when people started first receiving Social Security checks, they're living 6-7 years longer than they were that relatively short time ago. And those are just averages. The the experience for people with higher incomes and better access to health care is much different than that. They actually live much longer than the average. And so for this demographic, the risk of outliving your money is a serious one. And so that's why we want to make the right decisions with respect to Social Security. Social Security, a lot of people associate it with retirement. So when you look at the statistics, most people, immediately after they retire, they start taking Social Security. And one of the things we'll talk about is that's not necessarily the best thing to do. But it fits in the overall retirement planning category under financial planning. There are a lot of other things to think about as you're thinking about retirement, and that includes your health. That includes career transition. We've been talking a lot about career transition, people going from careers like being doctors or attorneys or entrepreneurs and then having lots and lots of free time. That's a big transition. So that's something to think about. Family, personal issues, and then certainly on the financial side. But it's one consideration along with things like saving, investing, and building a portfolio, which is what we do on a day-to-day basis, and then managing other things like taxes or estate planning or insurance or things like that. So this is one component, but it's an important one and a big part of retirement income for many families. Going back to the beginning, so in 1935, FDR signed Social Security into law. The first checks were issued in 1940. Demographically, there were 160 workers for one retiree in 1940. It's estimated that by 2021, it'll be 2-to-1 with what's just going on demographically in our country. And then by 2033, the inflows into Social Security are only expected to cover 75% of the outflows of the benefit payments. So there was a fix that was implemented in 1983 that was supposed to be a 75-year fix. It turned out to be a 50-year fix. And so lots of questions about the ongoing viability of Social Security. So we think there are two primary questions that need to be addressed. We're going to spend most of our time today on the second question is, number one, is Social Security going to be there for me? And in what form? And the real answer to that is we think so. We're not quite sure in what form. We think for folks who are pretty close to retirement age today, there won't be a whole lot of change. I'm 41, so maybe folks in my generation, we're going to see reduced benefits. We might see more taxation. We might see means testing. That could cover different groups. But we don't know. We think Social Security will be there in one form or another. But the real question is, based on the rules as they exist today, or what the rules as they evolve to be, how can I optimize my benefits? Based on those rules, how can I make the best of Social Security? So that's what we're going to focus on today. So just a quick overview of the agenda. Jake is going to walk us through some of the basics of Social Security. How does it work? The mechanics of how it works. Each of you gets a statement with your Social Security benefits on it. We're going to describe, how that works, and then some of the details. And then Tracy is going to walk us through some case studies, which are entertaining as well.